Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2. I'm about ready to head over to teach some classes, but I want to make one more video because I got some good responses this morning, and one from a couple of my friends who want me to do something on Nightfall. So I'm going to do that in a second here. So please, before we do that, subscribe, like, comment. I'll have a donate link as well if you want to help out and contribute to our channel. The comments you guys are saying are tremendous. Guys, the power you have, and I did this on Dominant Power, the last one, is unbelievable. The key is conserve it, use it, transmute it into something that can be beneficial. That's the key to the whole thing. The whole key is to try to use it the right way. You're going to have, guys, it's just different. You're different. You're different because you're retaining. You're not going along with the norm that 99% of the people are following, and they're going to be weak and they're going to look at zombie-like. But having that master yourself, controlling yourself, sets you apart, and people notice that. I mean, women will come up to you, men will respect you. They may get jealous and upset. Someone made a comment with that, and they will. So you may have to watch that, because people will be jealous because they don't know what it is about you, but something about you has changed, and people will notice that. And women will notice that, and they want that energy. They want to be around somebody who has that level of energy, that person who is out there doing their own thing and having their goals, staying on their purpose, and not just listening and following other people. They want that person in their life. I've seen it over and over again. You know, I've had daughters myself. I've had tons of students, male and female students, and this is one of the things that, you know, the female students will always complain about. Where are the men? And they're talking about men. They may not understand what they're really saying, but they're talking about men with energy. Men who have virility, vigor, I call it. That's why I call this Vigor channel. The Vigor Warriors, because they have vigor. They have energy. You can see it in their eyes. And I'll do one about the fire in the eyes, but the eyes glow. The eyes, the skin will glow. The eyes will tell. You can tell a person that's got retention because they have energy. They're busting out with energy, right? They have so much energy, they don't know what to do with. And that's why you got to work out. You got to use it properly, or else it may come back to to hurt you some ways, right? With, you know, being depressed and things. If you're just sitting around doing nothing, that's not working either. All right, so let's talk about Nightfall a little bit here. So I had to do some research on this because that's a term that was not something that I was familiar with. But it obviously talks about wet dreams. It talks about, you know, what happens if you lose your energy while you're sleeping. And so I've done some research on it. I will give you my experiences with this as well. Now, because I'm 60, and I think this has got something to do with it, this last journey that I've had so far, up to 461 days, I have not had any experiences with that. However, when I did do short-term types of retention when I was younger, and I could never do more than like 30 days, I did actually a fast for Lent, one when I was like in my mid-20s, and a couple times I did that. And when I did do that, and I did a fast, and I only had liquids for 30 days, I experienced it a couple different times. And from what I understand, it does not hurt your ability to have your power in you. It's almost like an excess, from what I understand, of too much. Now, in my case, I think because I'm 60 and because I had been, I've lost a lot of energy over the years because of my foolishness and not understanding this. I'm probably not at the point where I have a lot of that excess. I did when I was younger, because as younger people, we have a lot of testosterone. We have a lot of those things in our body and system. So it's probably pretty likely that it happened because of the excess. But I did not feel it when I did that. I did not feel any loss of energy. I did not feel any loss of power because of that. We got a bird show in the back there, so we got birds flying around. But the thing is that I did not feel any sort of loss of energy when I did that. I do remember it because I do remember being on the fast, and it was a tremendous opportunity for me to get closer to God and be able to do those things and meditate in prayer that I did. But I did not have the sort of self-control. And so now I realize, going through this journey, as I've hit past 400 and some days, that it's just a necessary type of thing, and the power is just unbelievable. I never had this type of power before. So even when I did the short-term fast, I could feel it. But being young, and once again, I was, for whatever reason, I listened to a lot of ideas out there saying, well, you need to lose your energy several times during the day. You need to, to just go ahead and chase, females around, all that kind of stuff, and do all this kind of stuff as a young man usually is when they're younger and they're told this is what they got to do. And so I think that, when I did that, I kind of bought into a different mentality than I have now. I mean, this is a lifestyle type change, and I think certainly, it's very possible that I may still experience it, and I will let you know if I do experience it, but everything seems well. I don't sleep that long, guys, so I think it's someone else mentioned in one of the comments, they don't sleep very long. And I don't sleep very long, so I'm getting up doing things. So my ability to, my window of doing this is a short term. I used to sleep 7-8 hours back in those old days, but I didn't have that power, and the stress and different type of things kind of got to me to the point where I struggled, and that's why I kind of started looking for ways to become better, master myself. And so back in the middle 30s, I had to go and do them because I was falling apart. A lot of the football injuries that had effect on me, skin issues, all kinds of stuff that I experienced, and I had told a doctor there has to be some way to do better than this. So I got that book, Fountain of Youth. As I told you, we'll talk about that a little bit. I started doing exercises, meditation to build the core, to build your back, to do different things. And then I still, the one right that they talk about in there, there's 5 or 6 rights. One of the rights in there they talk about that I could never do until a couple years ago was to abstain from and have celibacy. Then I studied brahmacharya and stoicism, all these type of things that I felt important because my goal is to live a long life, happy life, not one that I'm filled with aches and pains and arthritis. I see too many people. Now, I'm not talking about the young people here. I'm talking about older people. I see too many people who are in their 50s, are struggling with all kinds of pains and aches and taking all kinds of pills and everything. And I'm not going to do that. I just refuse to do that, and I will not do that. I don't think it's good for the body. And I just think there's too many side effects of anything you end up taking. And so that's why I say that I'm looking to avoid all of that and keeping myself in the best possible condition I can. So I weightlift. I try to eat the right foods, and we're going to talk about one. I think I'll call it Feed the Warrior. We'll talk about one about nutrition. But the idea, guys, is that you really want to make sure that you have goals. Now, for the younger people, you may think you have a whole life ahead of you, and I did as well when I was your age. But I will say this much, that the years catch up with you faster than you think, and especially if you start having kids and a family, then all of a sudden a lot of your time is taken. It's very difficult to find things to do to maintain yourself. And that's the toughest part when you have a lot of stress going on, a lot of things around you, to maintain yourself and not fall victim of temptation and start having dreams and things like that at night. Now, some of that you can control, some you couldn't. The time it happened to me a couple of times, I couldn't control it. It just happened. And I, woke up and all of a sudden I realized it. So the thing is that, but once again, I believe it was an excess because I had been retaining for a couple weeks. But I could never go more than a couple weeks, guys. I really couldn't. Back in the old days. I think now because I'm older, maybe it's, because it takes a little longer, obviously, testosterone and things like that. As we get older, our body slows down. So hopefully I'm trying to slow the aging process and create more of a fountain of youth type of idea that was intended all those years ago, and doing that in a way of keeping it inside yourself. I think really, guys, the key to it all is inside of you. It's that seed that's inside of you that God has given us all to be able to be strong, vigorous males. And females have the same thing as well in a different way. But I concentrate on the males, obviously, in this channel because that's kind of what I want to focus on. But certainly, the idea that, you're supposed to be draining yourself out all the time, I just don't think is right. And I just think from my own experiences, I've learned the hard way that it's not. I had a lot of issues with anxiety, different things over the years that have all gone away. And I just feel the best I've ever felt. And I had some comments like that. You guys have said the same thing. You feel unbelievable. The power you have is unbelievable. Like I said, I could never do these videotapes before. And it's only because I have the strength and I don't care about the fear and anxiety anymore. And so it's easy for me to go ahead and do these things because I'm just kind of telling you from who I am, the truth about how I see things, at least. And this is my opinion. Obviously, I'm not an expert, but I tell you my opinion and give you my opinion on things, and hopefully it helps at least one person out there kind of maybe steer their way away from what is commonly accepted out there in our society, and basically say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to retain for a longer period of time, and I'll see the benefits as I go along. And yeah, you may sit there and say, okay, my energy level is going to be kind of up and down at times, and it may end up being that way. If you have too much stress going on, it may suck some energy. But remember, what I'm talking about, guys, is the things that suck your energy. Certainly, succubuses and people who, that you have intercourse with are going to be your major people, and you've got to be careful. And there's ways to actually do those type of things without actually losing energy, and that's another whole topic that we may explore at some point. But besides that, you have the emotional stress that the vampires have, and then the zombies who just want to latch onto you. And it's interesting, guys. Even animals, I'll see this in animals. The animals that are around me just sit on the bed. It's almost like they sense the energy around you. I kid you not. It's really an amazing type of thing. I think once you start doing this, people sense energy. They may not be able to tell you why, but they want to be around you because of the energy you have. So hopefully this helps, my friends. If you have any more questions, let me know. Like I said, I had one experience with it. It's a couple experiences with it, actually, during that period of time of my fasting, way back in my 20s. And I think it was because of excess. And I think some of you young people probably have that same experience. The best thing to do, once again, is just don't worry about it. Keep moving ahead. Don't even consider it as part of your situation, your journey, and just move ahead like it didn't happen, and go ahead and focus on something else and get those things done. And if you get up early in the morning, if you find you can't sleep, do something constructive. Find things to do, whether it's doing work, reading, working out, anything. There's nothing wrong with that. The body's not going to say no, not to working out at a second or third time during the day. All right, enough of this one. Guys, gals, if you have any questions, let me know. But battle on, and we'll see you next time.